What's up, everyone? This is Tech Trooper 64, and today Ubisoft's CEO Yves Guillemot has expressed his expectation when it comes to the next generation consoles or the future generations of consoles. And he expects that traditional consoles will be replaced with new types of consoles that will likely be streaming based after this next generation. Now, on the console side, Guillemot said, we expect that there will be new consoles that are going to make this market continue to grow, and we feel we'll still have another generation of consoles before we have new types of consoles coming into market. Now, as for what these new consoles will be, Guillemot gave an equivocal, which equals up to for instance, we believe in streaming. It demands a lot of bandwidth, and we think it's going to grow. But today, with the types of games we have, it will still take a bit of time to be more popular. When asked about his opinions on the heavily rumored release of the PS 4.5 mid-generation upgrade, Guillemot appeared to reiterate his belief that another full generation will emerge before any major changes are made. For the new consoles, there's nothing official on that, so my expectation is we will have another cycle of consoles before we go to streaming. I don't have any dates or anything. What I see is the manufacturers would prefer to have again new hardware to take up the potential of new possibilities that they can bring. So it's interesting what he says here. He's saying that mostly that consoles, as we know them now, where you buy a game, you plop it into your console, and nowadays you have to install the game on your console, and then you get to play it with updates, of course. Now, that's what he's saying, that those consoles, the traditional consoles that you know of, are slowly going to die, and that they're going to be replaced with these new type of consoles that are just going to be a box, and all it'll be is just streaming. Now, he didn't, of course, give into specifics or anything, but this intentionally means that physical media will be dying, and therefore discs and Blu-ray discs and cartridges for the Nintendo 3DS and all that, all those will die, and that the consoles will just be streaming devices so that you can just stream games on your consoles, and it'll be all. Nothing will be changing. Nothing will be, different except for the fact that you won't be having physical media. So I got a couple things to say. And I'm going to quote something that was said on the Twitter user of ZookX. I could be saying his Twitter username wrong. I'll actually leave a link in the description below if you want to go check it out. He said something very interesting about this whole theory about the Nintendo, about this whole, or not the Nintendo, about this whole streaming consoles thing is the future of consoles. He said something very interesting. And yeah, it's ZHugeEX. I will leave a link in the description below to his Twitter account. You can go check him out. He did say something that's really interesting. And he said something along the lines of, in 10 years or so, yeah, I can see streaming consoles, but to be honest, physical media and the idea of putting a disc in your console will never die. And like he was kind of pointing towards the idea of like they can coexist, if you know what I mean. Like, for people, you can buy the PS5, for example, that has a whole disc drive, and you can put discs inside, and then you have another PS5 for the people who just want to stream their games. You have that option, and they can coexist. Now, that's something I can live with. But with the whole industry just jumping onto the idea of streaming consoles, I don't know. There's something very off-putting about it. I can't put my finger on it. There's just something really weird and off-putting. So that's just my opinion. I don't know. I like collecting physical editions of games and consoles. I'd rather have that than the digital version. So again, that's just me. And if we have a future of consoles that's, you have the option to go to a console that's streaming only, and then you have an option to also go physical if you want to, I'd love that. That'd be really cool. Now, granted, I'd understand if the physical one would be more expensive, and I would pay that money. But, I don't know. I would prefer it more if it would coexist. And I'm just going to bring up a little comparison. It's kind of like how nowadays, in the movie industry at least, the movie industry has already made that jump into streaming. And like people expect that like set top boxes of Apple TVs, Amazon Fire TVs, all those set top boxes, those streaming boxes essentially, were going to take over the movie market. You don't see that, right? Because people are still buying DVDs, people are still buying Blu-rays. I get it. Movies aren't as or games are not as accessible as movies are. Like for example, a movie can sell 100 million copies of that one movie over time because it's a movie that people enjoy and they want to have it for their home media. And games, it's like you're always going to want to buy the newer version of the game. There's not going to be a new version, for example, of like let's take Lord of the Rings. They're not going to make a new Lord of the Rings movie every year. So people are not going to buy that one Lord of the Rings movie, that new version of Lord of the Rings every year. So I understand that, but I still think like look at the movie industry for example. They're still selling Blu-ray players, they're still selling DVD players. Like, and you could say that they are competing against Apple TV and Amazon Fire TV, those Blu-ray and DVD players. And then you have those set-top boxes that stream. And it's like that's great, but like can't they just coexist? I'd like it if gaming did that. That like they said, yeah, here's a PS5 Nitro, let's call it. The PS5 Nitro is capable of streaming your games. You can stream all your games. You can stream the next Uncharted or whatever. And, you know, for you guys who still like buying games physically, don't worry. We have a PS5 that has a hard drive or disk drive, sorry. You can put your games inside, you can install them, you can play them the way you want. And like I know it's just a small detail, the whole digital distribution versus physical distribution, but I prefer physical distribution. That's just my opinion. So this is a very interesting topic, and I didn't actually expect this video to be this long. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about my idea of streaming and physical media working together in tangent for 2 generations of consoles later. Make sure to rate, comment, favorite, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments down below what you think. I'm really curious. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.